Can you imagine a world no presidents, no police, and no money, just people surviving in small groups, making their own decisions, no written rules, only instinct and survival? But as humans expanded, conflicts began. Who made the first laws? Who ruled the first government? And how did money replace trade? Today, I'll uncover the real story of how civilization was born. From the first kings to modern presidents, from bartering to banks, how did humans survive before rulers? Early humans lived in small tribes, typically 10, 50 people, surviving by hunting and gathering. No formal leadership, decisions were made collectively or by the strongest individuals. No money. Trade was based on bartering, like exchanging food, tools, or livestock. Conflicts were personal, there were no police or courts. If someone wronged you, you either fought them or left. But as groups got bigger, survival alone wasn't enough. Who made decisions for hundreds or even thousands of people? This led to the birth of the first rulers. Who were the first leaders? Some of the earliest civilizations, like Egypt around 5000 BC and Mesopotamia, had kings who ruled large cities. The pharaohs of Egypt were not just rulers but seen as gods, controlling laws, trade, and even religion. Other civilizations like the Sumerians around 3000 BC had city-states, each ruled by a king. Egypt had one of the first centralized governments, where a single ruler controlled everything. But while these rulers enforced customs, there were no official, written laws yet, until Mesopotamia introduced something revolutionary. What was the first written law? Around 1750 BC, King Hammurabi of Babylon created one of the first known written legal codes: an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Laws were strict but clear. Everyone knew the rules. Punishments were now written down instead of decided randomly. Now, you might be wondering, didn't Egypt have laws before this? The answer is yes, but they were enforced by tradition and the pharaoh's word, not written legal codes like Hammurabi's. Egypt's pharaohs ruled with divine authority and enforced justice long before Hammurabi, but the first detailed written legal system we have on record comes from Mesopotamia. How did governments evolve? Ancient Egypt and China had absolute rulers who claimed divine power. The Greeks around 500 BC invented democracy, where people voted for leaders. The Romans around 509 BC created the first republic with elected officials. This was the turning point. No longer did rulers hold power because they were gods. Some leaders were now chosen by the people. Before money, how did people buy things? Bartering was the first economic system, trading goods directly, like I give you wheat, you give me meat. The first currency appeared around 3000 BC in Mesopotamia. People used silver, gold, and grains as trade units. The first official coins were created by the Lydians in present-day Turkey around 600 BC. Money changed everything, trade became easier, and civilizations grew faster than ever. When did modern governments start? The idea of electing leaders instead of kings started with the American and French revolutions in the 1700s. The first officially elected president was George Washington in 1789. Today, we have different types of governments: democracies, monarchies, and dictatorships. We've come a long way, from tribal chiefs to kings, from emperors to presidents. But at the core, it all started with one thing: the need for order, fairness, and leadership. So the next time you hear about new laws, taxes, or elections, remember, this system took thousands of years to develop. Without rules, governments, and economies, civilization as we know it wouldn't exist. What do you think? Was life simpler before laws and money, or do we need them for a better world? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more deep dives into history, science, and mysteries.